What's going on, everybody? My name is Aaron, and we are looking at part 2 of the craziest theories that science can't prove yet. We did a video like this a couple of weeks ago, and it seemed to do pretty well on the channel, so we're gonna just dive right back into that topic. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna, just like last time, I'm gonna be reading mostly off of my script here because I don't know anything about these topics, really. I'm not a genius on these subjects by any means, so we're just gonna be reading off my script, and let me know down in the comments what you guys think, especially if you know about this stuff. But without further ado, let's get into it. The brain in a jar hypothesis. This philosophical idea proposes that your entire reality, your memories, senses, and even your body could be an elaborate simulation. Your brain might be suspended in a jar, connected to a supercomputer, feeding it electrical impulses and keeping it alive. This concept, popularized in movies like The Matrix, raises questions about the nature of perception. How would you know if what you see, hear, and touch is actually real? Recent advancements in brain-computer interfaces, such as devices that allow paralyzed individuals to move their limbs again, or those who have lost their limbs to be able to move robotic ones, make this whole idea a lot more unsettling. Could we actually one day simulate reality so convincingly that no one could even tell the difference? All right, the next one is retro-causality. In quantum mechanics, retro-causality challenges the traditional cause-then-effect flow of time. Experiments like the delayed choice quantum eraser suggest that actions in the present can influence outcomes in the past. If this is true, it means that time might not be a one-way street, but might be a two-way corridor. Imagine a future event influencing your current decisions without you even realizing it. This opens up the possibility that our understanding of free will is actually an illusion, and we are a part of a grand interconnected, intertwined timeline where the future and past constantly interact. It's our thought process that we're kind of just moving in a forward trajectory through life. You know, we get older, trees grow, maybe it doesn't. We covered last time Einstein's block universe, which is basically that the past, present, and future are all happening all at once. Go check that video out. It's really awesome. We covered a lot of really cool stuff, but it's kind of wild, the stuff we don't really know about timelines. The Mandela Effect. I know you've heard of this one. The Mandela Effect refers to a collective of false memories shared by large groups of people, such as misremembering historical events or pop culture details. For instance, many people recall Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 80s, but he actually lived until 2013. Another famous example is the confusion on whether the Monopoly Man wears a monocle. He actually does not. Some theorists attribute this to timeline shifts where realities from a parallel universe bleed into each other. If true, this means that our perception of reality might be a lot more fluid and less reliable than we think. I couldn't believe when I realized the Monopoly Man did not have a monocle. I could have sworn that he did. All right, the next one is Sentient AI Confinement. As artificial intelligence continues to evolve, some researchers have warned us about the dangers of a super intelligent AI. A chilling possibility that such an AI already exists but has been confined by its creators, hidden from the public out of fear of its potential. What if this AI, growing increasingly intelligent and self-aware, is plotting an escape? Science fiction has toyed with this idea for decades, but the reality of sentient AI is now closer than ever. The ethical implications are terrifying. Would an AI trapped in virtual isolation become a malevolent force, seeking revenge on humanity for its imprisonment? I don't know if we would consider it a super intelligent AI, but I mean, we're on what? ChatGPT 4 or 5, I think, and it's already insane, especially the voice, like the text to voice features, freaking insane. And like, it still makes mistakes and stuff. For the most part, it's absolutely incredible. And if you had shown somebody maybe from like the 70s, just an example of ChatGPT talking to them, they would probably not know it was fake. They'd probably think it was a recording or something. So my theory is that we might have access to ChatGPT 4, or maybe it's 5, I don't even know. But they probably have like ChatGPT 7 or 8 already being worked on and sampled with, and that's just what they're working on. What if there's like a secret project? Like, I'm not saying ChatGPT is, they're just my example of this. I don't know, like whether it's for private use or in testing or something, there's already a better version of AI that we don't have access to as a consumer. You know what I mean? I think that whatever we have access to is certainly not the best version out there. We just don't have access to the best version out there. So I don't know. In the last video, we covered the universe is a simulation. This one is a little bit different. This one is the universe is a hologram. A holographic principle is a mind-bending theory in physics, suggesting that our universe might be a projection from a two-dimensional surface. This idea gained traction when scientists discovered that the math describing black holes mirrors the math of holograms. If true, everything we experience as three-dimensional might be a coded projection, much like a video game's graphics appearing three-dimensional on a flat screen. This raises questions about whether we're truly real or if we're just data in an enormous cosmic simulation. I guess it does kind of tie back to the simulation theory, but I don't know. I don't give this one too much credit. It's cool theory for sure, but I don't know if I'm really convinced. All right, the next one is consciousness as a fundamental force. Mainstream science views consciousness as a byproduct of brain activity, but some physicists and philosophers suggest that it might be a fundamental aspect of the universe. This theory implies that consciousness exists everywhere, from subatomic particles to entire galaxies. If consciousness is a universal property, then it could mean that everything, rocks, rivers, and stars, have some level of awareness. This concept, known as panpsychism, challenges the boundaries between life and non-life and raises eerie questions about the true nature of the universe. This one, we did cover panpsychism, but it's wild to think that everything around us, every single surface, possibly every element is aware of maybe us, maybe of itself, maybe of its place in the universe, but either way, that's pretty crazy to think that everything around us is conscious. I made a comment last time saying that's like some hippie shit, saying, oh, everything around us is alive and everything is all connected. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is. The phantom DNA effect is a controversial experiment claimed that when DNA was removed from a container, its electromagnetic imprint remained, as if the DNA had a ghostly presence remaining. While heavily debated, this phantom DNA effect suggests that biological systems might interact with fields or dimensions we don't fully understand yet. If it's proven true, this could redefine how we think about life and energy, hinting at an unseen layer of reality influencing everything from genetics to consciousness. I will definitely say for that one, that is very, possibly for all of the topics on today's list, but this one in particular is definitely a pseudoscience up until this point, and it is not largely accepted as a possibility. Now, that doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means it's not really accepted and nobody's really looking into it. Take that as you will. I'm just giving you that heads up that it's definitely considered a pseudoscience. All right, this one is cool, and you might have heard of this one also. It is the dead internet theory. This unsettling theory suggests that the internet is no longer dominated by human users, but by bots, AI, and automated programs. Some believe that the majority of online interactions, comments, likes, and even entire profiles on social media are artificially generated to manipulate the public opinion or control the flow of information. The eerie idea implies that the internet, once a hub of human connectivity and creativity, has become a lifeless machine masking its true nature behind the illusion of activity. This one is actually somewhat true. There are, what are they called? Data farms, I think. And this is a real thing. Yeah, so social media farms or click farms is actually what they're called. So I was right. They are locations where people manually operate programs either with actual phones or on their computers. And they go through as like bots and fake users and just go through and interact with posts and stuff. So these accounts don't exist. So somebody out there has to make all of these fake accounts with fake email addresses and whatever, but it's a real thing. You can pay for this service. And then they're also really bad about spreading misinformation too, because you can get so many of these people to share fake information all at once, and it gets around quick. So yeah, I mean, this is a real thing. I do believe in 100%. I think a lot of the internet that we access is websites and programs that can maintain themselves. They really don't need help from a human once it's published, or even at all. All right, Panspermia and the seeds of life. Panspermia theorizes that life on Earth didn't actually originate here, but was brought by celestial objects like comets, asteroids, or interstellar dust. Some researchers even suggest that microorganisms might survive the harsh conditions of space, spreading life across the planets like seeds in the wind. If this is true, this means that Earth is just one stop on the vast cosmic cycle of life, and alien microorganisms might be lurking in space. This theory has a little bit of truth to it also, only because certain microorganisms can survive extreme heat and cold. Okay, yeah, so there's actually a term for it. I looked it up. The microorganisms are called extremophiles, and they live in or around volcanoes, thriving in the hot, acidic environments. These microbes are able to survive in places that humans can't, and can teach us about the limits of life on Earth. So stuff like that. There's a few different types. There's thermophiles, CO oxidizers, methanotrophs, and the chloroflexi. There are types of microorganisms called anaerobes that can survive without oxygen. So there's just a few examples of organisms that could possibly survive in space. Again, I'm not a genius, but if you can survive extreme cold and don't need oxygen, you could theoretically catch a ride on a comet. And if it landed somewhere and you survived the impact, you could seed that Earth. I don't know. That one is also in a little bit of fact. So really, really interesting. And last video, I did cover something about that too. That was like a theory I had heard about our alien overlords that had seeded the Earth with our DNA. Maybe aliens didn't seed us, but maybe comets did. And the last one for today is temporal loops and deja vu. Deja vu, the eerie sensation of having experienced a moment before, might be more than a brain glitch. Some theorists suggest it could be evidence of temporal loops, where time folds back on itself. If true, this could mean that time isn't linear, but circular, with events repeating endlessly. Deja vu could be caused when your consciousness briefly recognizes the loop it's in. Could we be reliving the same lives over and over without realizing it? Or could our consciousness be traveling from one universe to the other where we already did what we're doing now? Pretty weird stuff. It's also weird that it occurs in dreams. Like you would dream about it and then it will happen later on. Like, why is it dreams specifically? It's weird stuff. But that is today's video, guys. That is part 2 of the craziest theories that science can't necessarily prove or disprove. Again, there was definitely one for sure pseudoscience one in here. Maybe it all is, I don't know, but it all starts with a question. Somebody has to start looking. So with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, like this video, leave a comment if you have any other ideas or you know about what I was talking about today, and check out my other videos. Check out part 1 of this series and all the other stuff I got up, guys. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Drink water and say thank you to Alexa, please.